So once the agarose gel has dried, you want to carefully take out the cone. Try to be gentle so you don't rip the agar or agarose gel. And now you can see the sort of wells that I'm going to load the samples into. I'm also going to take off the little rubber holders. I always load samples from this, or kind of from the left side, but it doesn't matter too much how you load them as long as you know which way. So there's two ways to load samples. One is a dry method and the other one is the wet method. So I'm going to measure out 35 microliters of my sample. So this will be loaded into the first well. I find it easier to try and use my one hand to hold, and you're aiming to get it so that the pipette tip actually goes into the well. You don't want to break the gel around it, and once it's in, you don't want to pierce the bottom, but then gently release, and that will fill it up. So that's how you do a dry load. And I can't lift the wells now, so I'll just show you. You can see how, so for the second one I'm not going to actually load the sample, but if I was to load it, I'd want to get the tip in actually with the well. So if I slightly wiggle it, you can see it in, but I haven't pierced the bottom. So that's how you do a dry load, and I'm going to now put it inside the gel electrophoresis tank, and then I can show you a wet load. Doesn't matter too much how you do it. So I filled the tank up with the TAE buffer, and I'm now just carefully going to set my gel in. The benefit of the dry load over the wet load is that if I release the pipette tip once I put it in here, the sample can disperse now into the liquid, whereas the dry load, it will only go on the well. You can't actually lose some to the liquid. So you want to make it so that your TAE buffer covers your gel by a couple of millimeters. So I've just added a bit more buffer, and now I'm happy that that's ready. And I'm going to load the second sample. So as before, I'm just going to draw it up, use my right hand for support, and then dip it in so that it's in the well, and then release it. So as before, I put the tip in. It's harder to see the wells when it's actually in the gel tank, and then release the sample. So I'm going to stop the video and load the rest. So I have loaded a dye into each of the wells. So normally you would be using a DNA sample that you'd mix with a loading dye so they'd all appear the same color, but as an example I've just used different colored dyes. So that's the electrophoresis tank or gel all loaded. So first things first, because DNA is negatively charged, make sure that your wells are on the negative side or the black side of the tank, and just simply pop on the lid, turn it on, and leave it to run. So in the corners of the tank, if it's working, you can normally see bubbles